Moving to another state could be one of the best decisions of your entire life, or it could be one of the worst decisions. And the scary part is that most people don't realize it's a bad decision until they've signed the lease, bought the house, moved hundreds of miles away, and just to realize that it's not the right place for them. So, before you go ahead and start your relocation, here are 17 things that you need to know. And just a little reminder, if you are new here, this channel is moving to Colorado. I'm Taylor Ratliff. I am a relocation realtor. And so if you are looking to make a move to Colorado, definitely reach out. All of my information is right here. And then let's hop into 17 things that you really need to think about and that you should really consider before you go ahead and start your relocation. We're making this video super interactive, so I want you to stop what you're doing and I want you to get a pen and paper, or if you're watching this on the TV, I want you to pull out your phone. I want you to get something for you to get this information down, because if you just watch this video, it's not all going to stick, and this is very important. I have made a move. I've made a move across states, and here are truly all of the things that I did not consider when moving, that if I would have considered, it would have probably saved us a ton of money, a ton of time, and a ton of headache. So make sure that you follow along, make sure that you pause, make sure that you really sit with all these questions. And to start the video off, the number one thing that you want to get clear on when you are planning a relocation across state, across country, to a different city, you want to figure out what your why is. So why are you making this move? Why are you making this move? If you are somebody that is wanting to move to a less expensive place, if you are wanting to move somewhere that has a better job market, if you're wanting to move somewhere that is better for your health, if you're wanting to move somewhere where your kiddos are going to go to college, all of this is very important because it's going to help us determine where you need to end up. And so if you're not crystal clear on what is causing you to want to move from the state that you're already in, it's going to be really hard to figure out where in the United States is going to be a good fit for you, because if you are vague, you're going to get vague results. So make sure that you are so crystal clear about this. This is the most important point. You want to get clear on why you are making a move, what is driving you to move from the state that you are currently in. Some questions that are really good for you to think about is, why am I leaving? Why are you leaving the current place that you are in? And what are you hoping that this new state fixes for you? Is this going to be a temporary move, or is this going to be a forever move? Are you planning to put down roots and stay for a long time? That's important. And are you moving towards something or away from something? A lot of people make a move because they're frustrated with where they currently live, only to discover that they brought the exact same problems with them. So, like I said before, if you don't clearly define what a successful relocation looks like for you, it's impossible to know if you're choosing the right location. So the second piece of this, and it's not something, oh my gosh, that's an awful 2. It's even worse now. Number 2. Oh my gosh. Number 2. So, not everybody can do this, okay? And so it's important to reach out for help if you're not able to do this, but you want to visit where you are planning on moving. Not for vacation, not for just a couple days in a rushed manner, not for a work trip. You don't want to visit as a tourist. You want to visit and truly get into the shoes of a local. What does a typical Tuesday look like here? What do the traffic patterns do? What is the weather doing? What are the people like? Are you somebody that likes nightlife? Do you not like nightlife? Like, you want to come here and get very clear on whether or not it's going to be a fit for you. And if you're somebody that is trying to make a move and you either are unable to make a visit to where you want to move because of financial reasons or because of time constraints, then you want to reach out to somebody that is local, ideally a lender or a realtor, somebody that knows the area well, so that they can help give you a boots on ground feel when you are not able to have that boots on ground experience for yourself. So this is so important because a lot of people, I work with a ton of people that relocate to Colorado, and I also work with a lot of people that relocate out of Colorado. And a lot of people that are relocating out of Colorado, it's because they just did not do enough homework, and this is just truly not the right place for them. And it's just taken a couple years of struggling for them to realize that and save enough in order to go back home. And so you want to make sure that you visit or that you reach out for help, because everything that you're seeing online is a highlight reel. It's all the pretty parts, and you just really want to get, what is it actually like to live here? If you are planning on making a move across state, you want to know what it's actually like to live there, not just to vacation there. So if you're wanting to make a move to a different state, and Colorado is one of those states, definitely reach out because I can help you with that. But if you have a different state in mind, definitely reach out because I have partners all over the country that can do this exact piece for you. And it gets you out of having to fly here, make travel plans, and also having to book the time off in order to do so. If you are somebody that has the luxury of visiting before you commit, you want to come and you want to see what it's like during rush hour. You want to see what it's like during bad weather, on a weekday, on a weekend, at night, in the morning, around school hours, during the season that you'll dislike the most. A place can feel amazing on a sunny Saturday and completely different on a snowy, cold Tuesday morning in December. And so you just want to make sure that the place that you are committing to is the right place for you to commit to, because we want to make this a great experience. And if you do your due diligence, it can be. Okay, number 3 is that you want to do your research. And I feel for every single, I feel for every single person that moves to a state and says, the realtor that we talked to, or the person that we talked to, or whatever it is that got them to move there, it just wasn't honest and it wasn't truly what we thought it was going to be. And so when you are making a move, yes, you want to reach out for help, but you want to have your own best interests at heart. And the way that you do this is through research. And so you don't just want to be researching how much homes cost here. You want to be researching the weather. You want to be researching the HOAs in the communities that you're interested in. You want to be researching the prices. You want to be researching the trends of the prices and what's going on in the real estate market. You want to look up schools. If you have kids that are in grade school, you need to be looking up schools. If you are coming here for a job, you need to be researching the job market, property taxes. You need to be researching property insurance, how much it's going to cost you to register your vehicle when you come out here. And so there's just so much when it comes to research. And if you want a step-by-step guide of what you should be researching and what you should know before you make a move, make sure that you comment research below, and I will make sure to get that sent out to you. But make sure that you are doing your research, because that is going to make all the difference on whether or not you end up in a place that is going to work for you and help you thrive, not survive, because you're not making a move to make your life harder. You're making a move to make it better. Something else that I do want to note here is that a cheaper house is not always going to mean a cheaper life. And especially those of you that are coming with kiddos, make sure that you are researching how much it costs for childcare if you're working, and also healthcare costs and things like that, because a lot of times people are moving big families because they see different prices that are attractive or different lifestyles that are attractive, and they are not aware that it costs a lot to feed your family here and provide the lifestyle that you're looking to live. Okay, number 4, and I would say that this is probably one of the most important things that you need to sit with, think about, be aware of before you make a move. What is the job market doing? And I will tell you, in Colorado, if you are wanting to make a move here and you don't have employment lined up, then you need to be prepared to burn through quite a bit of your savings, because there's people that get lucky and they're able to find employment very quickly, but then there's a lot of people that come here and I see these posts all the time, and they're unable to find employment, and they're bringing a lot of people with them, or they're bringing pets with them, or responsibilities and car payments and all of this stuff, and all of a sudden they have blown through their entire savings because they also just paid for an expensive move to relocate, and they still don't have a job. And so you don't want to go from thriving in one state to having to go on government assistance in another state. And there's no shame at all to people that are on government assistance, but the goal is for you to have a better life. The goal is for you to be able to thrive, not survive. Truly, truly, truly. And I know I've said this before, but you want to make sure that you are prepared for this. Because in New Mexico, any job I wanted, I just had to go ask for it and they would give it to me because there wasn't a lot of competition. And in Colorado, it's a different beast. It's something that I was not used to coming out here. And there was a lot of rejection and a lot of different things that I had to navigate. And it wasn't just always a yes. And so this is truly something I hear time and time again. People come out to Colorado without a job that's lined up, and they end up blowing through their savings, not being able to find a job that is suitable for the amount that they're paying for the cost of living, and they end up like barely getting by, working their tails off just to save up for 2 years to go back home. And you don't want that to be you. So make sure that you are aware of what the job market is doing. And I would so recommend that if you are thinking about moving from out of state, that if you are not clear that the job market is in high demand for a candidate like you, then I highly recommend that you secure a job before you ever move to the state. Because if you don't get employment for months after you move here, the bills don't stop. The bills don't wait for you to get employment. You still have to pay for things, and the cost of living, depending on where you go, could potentially be higher than what you're used to. And so your savings are going to burn through a lot quicker. So be prepared, make sure that you understand the job market, and really consider getting a job lined up before you ever step foot in the new state that you're moving to. Even if you are a remote worker, you want to ask yourself, what happens if you lose your job? What industries are strong in the areas that you're wanting to move? Are the salaries comparable? Are the wages comparable to where you're coming from? Or are they better? Or are they worse? And how difficult is it going to be for you to find another position? You want to make sure that you have options. You want to make sure that you're clear on what you're up against, and you want to make sure that you're not moving to a place where you can't find employment. Number 5 is that commute times matter a lot more than most people think. And what I mean by that is oftentimes people buy a house in one area because it's cheaper, the rental prices are cheaper, the cost of living could potentially be cheaper, and also the home prices are cheaper. And what they find is they've bought a house that is 20 minutes on a good day, at a good time, away from their work. And at 5 o'clock, when they're getting off of work, it is no longer 20 minutes, and now it's an hour. in rush hour traffic, that is not enjoyable. You did not move here just to spend your life working and commuting. And so it's very important for you to sit with the fact that it might be more beneficial for you to spend more money on the rental home that you have or on the home that you're purchasing if it means that you're closer to where your employment is or that you're closer to the things that you want to be around. So make sure that you really, really consider the commute times, and not the commute times only when you're looking them up. You want to look before 6 o'clock in the morning. You want to look at 7 o'clock in the morning, around 9 o'clock when everybody is up and the highway is packed. You want to look around 12 to 1, and you also want to look all around 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. What are the commute times doing? Because if they're jumping up significantly, that's each way. So if you're commuting an hour back and an hour there, that's a lot of time that you're spending in the car. And personally, I think it's worth spending more money for you to be able to get off work and drive 15 minutes to your house and being able to enjoy the rest of your day, enjoying the weather and working in the garden and hanging out with family and cooking and doing those things instead of just being in a sea of vehicles around people that are not happy to be in rush hour traffic. So commute times are very important. And I find a lot of times that when people are trying to save some money, they end up buying a house or renting a house in a cheaper area only to have to relocate in a couple years because they're miserable every single time they have to go to and from work. So consider the commute times and really sit with whether or not it's going to be a good idea for you to spend more money or commute for you to save a buck. Many people that are relocating underestimate this. A 20-mile commute in one city might be 25 minutes. A 20-mile commute somewhere else could be over an hour. Drive times impact your family time, stress, fuel costs, and overall happiness. And you want to map your actual commute during the times you are going to be driving. This part is super important too. If you are unsure, you should rent first. Real estate is best kept for a long time. So if you are, unless you're doing something like an investment property or a flip, you don't want to buy real estate. You don't want to buy a home in an area and just to figure out that it's not the right place for you to be, just for you to sell a year or two after buying. That's going to cost you a lot of money. We're no longer in these crazy COVID times where we're seeing insane astronomical appreciation year over year. And so the chances of you making up what it cost you to buy that home is very low, because if you sell your home, it's likely going to cost you more money than what it costs you to buy it if you're selling within a year or 2 years. And if you're unsure, rent a home first. Rent a home first. There's not a lot of commitment. It's not your home, so that's a little unfortunate because you're not able to build equity immediately. But in order for you to not get it wrong and to feel confident in moving forward into actually making the move, because there's less fear, renting is a great option. There's the ability to, after a year of being in one area, a year is plenty of time for you to figure out if it's going to be a good area for you to buy a home in or not. And so you can move somewhere, you can rent in an apartment, you could rent a home, you could rent something that is relatively cheaper than a single family home so that you can start saving up money for you to actually purchase. But for a lot of people that are unsure and not comfortable moving forward and making an investment in real estate, renting for a year to get comfortable with the area is a great option, because again, if you decide that it's not a good place for you, you're already there and in the state. You've already made the move, and chances are you've traveled and you've looked into different surrounding areas and you've been able to find one that's actually going to be a fit for you. So typically, I'm seeing people either buy a home immediately or rent for a year, and then they're teed up to buy a home exactly where they want to be. And there's no stress of, is it the right place? Is it not the right place? But again, if you're able to visit and if you're able to really decide and get clear on your why and be able to determine if the area is the right place for you, especially by reaching out and asking for help. Make sure you reach out if you're moving to Colorado. I'd love to help you. Then it's going to be easy for you to decide to purchase because you know the area, you know where you're buying, and you know whether or not it's a good investment. Okay, number 7 is that you want to research neighborhoods. So a lot of people are going to say, I want to move to Denver. And that's such a broad statement. And oftentimes people do not want to move to Denver because they think Denver is this little mountain city that is right in the heart of the mountains. And that's not true at all. And there's so many different neighborhoods in Denver. There's some really beautiful neighborhoods that have beautiful trees and parks, and there's some that are situated close to water, and there's some that are more upscale. There's some that are more walkable. And so it's very important, again, like your why and the reason that you're coming here, the reason that you're wanting to move to a different state is so important because it's truly going to help you figure out where you're meant to land. And when you are planning a relocation, you want to research the neighborhoods because they're not all created the same. In Colorado, each neighborhood has different HOAs. They have different rules and regulations. They have different community events, block parties, holiday events. There's a HOA in Aurora, Colorado, South Shore, Aurora, Colorado, where you get 2 free beers at the HOA every day. And so there's just different things that matter to different people. And again, on the walkability, in Colorado, there's some super cute towns and super cute cities that have these historic walkable downtown areas. And then there's some cities like Westminster that doesn't really have a developed downtown area that personally, I love Westminster. It's beautiful. You've got beautiful views of the mountains, but I'm not a fan of the fact that I don't have a super cute walkable downtown area. And so it's super important that you research these neighborhoods and you understand what is offered, what you can expect. You know, if you're somebody that loves to golf, you should live in a golfing neighborhood. If you value quiet and you are in your older years, then maybe you should be looking into a retirement 55 and older community. And if you are somebody that is a young professional that is, just starting a business, maybe you should be looking into a condo in a very busy area of town. So it truly matters what and why you are moving to the place that you're moving and what is fueling you, what the desire is, because once you start researching these neighborhoods, once you start researching the cities, once you start, oh my gosh, this is a tongue tire. Once you start researching, if you're clear on why you are moving, it's going to be very easy to say, this is a yes, this is a no, and this is a maybe. And once you have all of that sorted out, that is your travel plan. And that is also the cities and the areas that you're discussing with a realtor for more information on, instead of just the broad range. We would like more information on Colorado. No, you don't, because Western Colorado is completely different than Eastern Colorado, and so is Northern Colorado from Southern Colorado. So make sure that you are doing a lot of research and a lot of due diligence. And here's a key pointer and tip. If you don't want to do this research, reach out, I'd love to help you if you're thinking about relocating to Colorado. I can do this research for you. I'm the boots on ground for you here. And if you're thinking about moving to another state, you can also reach out because I might have a partner in one of those states in the area that you're looking for that could do a really great job doing the same for you. The same is going to be true with what I said about Denver, about like almost every city in the United States. And so you want to be researching specifically neighborhoods, school boundaries, crime patterns, walkability, noise level, future development. And I can't give you information when it comes to crime. I can't tell you whether or not a place is safe or not. I can't tell you about whether or not there are sex offenders in a certain area, and neither can any other realtor. But you are at 100% liberty to do that research for yourself to make sure that you are moving to a place that you're okay with living in, and that you're okay with walking your dog at night in, and that you're okay with raising your children in. So this is important. Make sure that you do the research and make sure that you reach out for help if you need help doing it. All right, number 8 is super important. And I don't know if you heard that, but number 8 is super important, and that is understanding the weather reality. And I will tell you, this nipped me in the tail moving to Colorado because I did not truly understand what we were getting ourselves into. When you are moving from one state to another, it is so important that you understand what the weather patterns are like here, because the winters differ, the summers differ. If you're a gardener, I'm learning that this year. I'm planting a huge garden and huge flower beds, and I'm learning so much about this Colorado weather that I haven't even learned in the past couple years. And so it's so important that you are clear on what's going on with the weather, because moving here from New Mexico, I didn't think that we would ever encounter tornadoes. And I will tell you what, there are more tornadoes than I would have ever imagined in Colorado. And there's so many times that people are posting photos of those funnels that are coming from the sky. And it's really trippy because I thought that mountains meant that you don't have tornadoes. And there's also insane hail here in certain areas of eastern Colorado. There's people that have these like mega hail balls that have like all stuck together to make this insane piece of hail. And they're showing like smashed windshields. And in 2023, I had a brand new, I think the car was like 6 months old, and it was a brand new Subaru, and I didn't have gap insurance on it. And I was on the outskirts of a tornado and completely totaled my vehicle. It was completely totaled. It looked like an orange, like it was awful. There was so much hail damage. The windshield was absolutely wrecked. And I lost out on about $8,000, not including, I paid off $8,000. So down payment and insurance and getting the right registration and title, all of that and whatnot, I probably spent and lost a total of $12,000 within 6 months, because I did not know that when you get a tornado warning on your phone in Colorado, you should listen and you should find cover, and that gap insurance is important. Gap insurance is only $599. If I would have just checked the box and gotten gap insurance, I wouldn't have had to been out $12,000. And it does that to me, because I'm like, dang, I should have been told that by the auto dealer, the person that has grown up in Colorado that was guiding me through this process should have said, check that box. You're going to be happy you did. If you never need it, what's $599? But if you end up needing it, that is the best $599 that you've ever spent. And unfortunately, I did not get that guidance, and I spent a lot of money. And so I'm very happy that you're watching this video. Make sure that you get gap insurance, and make sure that you do the research on what the weather is like in the area that you're wanting to move? Are the winters suitable for you? Is the summer suitable for you? Are you somebody that wants all 4 seasons? I want all 4 seasons. That's why I'm in Colorado. I love the fact that I have a true spring, summer, fall, and winter season. And I don't want to live somewhere where it's summer all year round. And I also don't want to live somewhere where it's winter for 8 months of the year. And so I also don't want to live in Alaska where you've got like months of just absolute darkness. And so all of that is important. You want to ask yourself, can I tolerate this for 3 straight months? Not just one beautiful weekend. You just want to get clear on what the expectations are for weather. We have snow states, we have hurricane zones, we have tornado alley, we have extreme heat in certain areas, extreme humidity in certain areas, wildfire risk all over the place. And you just want to make sure that you understand this, because if you're somebody that loves sunny weather, you don't want to move to Seattle where it rains all the time. And if you're somebody that is allergic to the sun, you don't want to move to Colorado. So weather is very important. Do your research on weather and talk to people. Talk to the locals. Get in the groups. Ask people recommendations they have, because it's good time spent for you to get clear on what the expectations are when it comes to weather. This is a big one. Number 9 is that you want to learn the local culture. And what I mean by that is, what is the makeup of the area that you are moving to? And is it going to be a place that is good for you? Is it going to be a place that you fit in? If you are a farmer, you shouldn't move to Denver. And if you're somebody that loves the city and loves nightlife, you shouldn't move to Fort Morgan. And so you want to be very clear on what the local culture is. When is the nightlife? And I've got to stop because this cat is so mean and she doesn't like it when I ignore her. You want to get clear on what the local culture is like. Are people super happy to have tons of activity? In Colorado, people are so happy to go on hikes and to constantly be active. And if you're not somebody that enjoys going on hikes and being outdoors, you might feel a little out of place in Colorado. People love their outdoor sports here. And so if you're not somebody that likes nature and likes being outside, you shouldn't spend the money that it costs to live in Colorado, because that's why you're spending it. And so just make sure that you're learning the local culture, because that is, I can't even focus with you on me because you're so pretty. Pretty kitty. Learn local culture so that you can move to a place that you fit into. If you love the nightlife and downtown life and staying up all night and drinking and partying, there's going to be different areas in the United States that are going to be best for that. And if you're somebody that is trying to pursue a music career, there's going to be different places that are good for you. If you're somebody that's trying to homestead, if you're trying to, I don't know. It truly, you just want to get clear on the place that you're moving. What is the local culture and what can you expect when moving here? Okay, so we were talking about learning the local culture, and then the cat completely took my attention. So some questions that you want to ask yourself is this area family oriented? Is it outdoors focused? Is nightlife important? Is it politically different? Is growth welcomed or is it resisted? You do not just live in a house, you live in a community. And so it's very important for you to understand the community that you are potentially going to be a part of. Number 10 on things to consider is going to be one of the most important things that people are surprised on the cost of, and that is going to be insurance. And this is insurance across the board. Before you buy a house in an area, before you move to an area, you want to get clear on how much it is going to cost for you to insure your belongings. This comes to homeowners insurance, auto insurance. If you have a camper or an RV, how much is that going to cost? Pet insurance, how much does it cost for you to keep your animals covered if they potentially get sick? Healthcare insurance, how much does it cost to keep your human kiddos safe and yourself healthy? All of this is very important because from state to state, I gotta tell you, living in New Mexico, we did not spend a lot on insurance at all. And moving to a state that has so many hail insurance claims, hail damage insurance claims, homeowners insurance is through the roof because everybody is claiming for their roof to be replaced. And auto insurance is through the roof because everybody is getting hail damage on their vehicles across the state. And so make sure that you understand how much it's going to cost you when it comes to the cost of insurance across the board. Some things that you want to get quotes for are homeowners insurance, auto insurance, flood insurance if you're in an area that needs it, wind and hail coverage, and fire coverage if you're in an area that needs it, because sometimes different types of insurance costs can change your budget dramatically. This one is piggybacking a little bit off of the weather, but you want to understand the natural disaster risks. Like I said before, disaster. Hey, I'm good at selling homes, not spelling everything perfectly. So disaster risks. Like I said before, I did not know that Colorado had so much hail damage. I did not know that Colorado had tornadoes. I was not clear on truly how extreme the weather can be in Colorado. It is not something that I had ever experienced in my entire life living in New Mexico. And so I did not understand that, and it cost us a lot of money. And you want to make sure that you understand it specifically for the state and the areas of the state that you're looking, because it could cost you a lot of money if you move to an area that is in a flood zone, or it could cost you a lot of money if you move to a place that is known for having fire issues, or if you move to a place that is known for having hurricanes and your home gets washed away in a hurricane. And so make sure that you understand the weather and also the potential for natural disasters in the areas that you are looking into. Number 12 on things that you should consider is going to be future growth. If you are somebody that values your peace and quiet and doesn't want to be in traffic and doesn't want to be in an area that is going to have a lot of growth, that matters. And that is truly going to point you in a completely different direction than if you're somebody that is okay with growth and is potentially investing in a new development community that is at the very beginning because it's less expensive and you are expecting there to be growth. So make sure that you understand this, because you don't want to move somewhere that potentially doesn't have as bad of traffic but has a lot of open fields and open land that are planned for development of apartment buildings and of different single family home communities and things like that, because your quiet street is going to be a busy street in a couple years. And if you don't like traffic, you're not going to want to live there anymore. And you're either going to end up selling or you're going to end up staying and being miserable as you stay there. So make sure that you understand the growth that is happening in the areas that you are looking at. make sure that you also budget for the future growth that is going to happen in these areas. If you don't want to be around a lot of traffic, you should move to an area that doesn't have the potential of being developed more or is already developed. But if you are somebody that is okay with the traffic, then you might be able to get into a new construction community that is just starting out, that is a really great price, but is going to get busier as they continue to develop. So the growth is important for you to consider when making a move across state lines. Before you move to any other state, you want to build your team. These are going to be the people that are working on your behalf for your best interest. And this is so important for you to have, because if you're somebody like me, you're moving to a state where you don't know anybody. And it's really important for you to have not only familiar faces so that you feel like you're not moving completely alone, but also some guidance and some local expert guidance, because it truly helps to have somebody that can guide you and say, these apartment complexes are a good choice, these are not. Or this community is super busy, or this one is not. Or this one is very centered around lifestyle and trails and running, or this one is not as walkable and is further into the mountains. And so you want to build your team of people that are going to work on your behalf and really help you have a good experience. And that includes a realtor partner. Hello, or reach out to me. I want to help you. This is what I do. But it also includes having a lender that is going to bat for you. And oftentimes the realtor that you connect with is already going to have an incredible working relationship with a great lender, and they most likely have proven successes that they're able to replicate with your situation as well. So highly recommend talking to a realtor and getting a recommendation for a lender from that realtor. And then you also want to have your home inspector who is going to go through the home with a fine-tooth comb to make sure that you are in a good situation. And that, again, is likely going to be somebody that your realtor recommends. But these people are very important for you to have. And then you want to have movers, who are the people that are going to be trusted with keeping your belongings safe and making sure that they don't get lost or broken through the move. All of these people are very important. The veterinarian, the doctors. You want to make sure that you are starting to build your team of professionals before you get here, because it's very easy to land in the craziness and the chaos of a new move and not get to building that team for several months. And I personally think that that sets you back. And it could lead to a rushed decision where you're not actually working with the realtor and lender part, and you're not actually working with the realtor, lender, home inspector dream team, as you could say, that is right for you. You're just working with the people that were most convenient and available at the time that you needed it last minute. So make sure that you're building your local team. Make sure that you reach out. I'd love to help you. You're moving to Colorado, and if you're not, again, reach out. I'm happy to help you get in front of the right people so that you can build your team in a different state as well. You also want to be making sure that you are budgeting not only a typical budget of what things are going to cost, but also for hidden costs. Like I said before, I had a car that was totaled very quickly after moving here, and that was something that I did not budget for and really, really set me back in life and in my business. And I think it's important that you budget for things like that. I think it's important that you budget for potential healthcare costs, that you budget for tires potentially needing replacement, that you budget for insurance increases in premiums, that you budget for what kind of lifestyle you want to live. I think it's very important that you have a realistic view of what it's going to cost. Because if you just sit down and you say, it's going to cost us housing and it's going to cost us groceries and utilities, and that's it, that's not realistic. And you're gonna seriously just be sitting with your head in your hands of like, what have we gotten ourselves into, because you weren't realistic. And you need to have your best interest at heart. You need to be realistic. You need to sit down with all of the information so that you can make sure that you are putting yourself in a good situation for your future self. And so make sure that you budget for hidden costs. Some costs to think about are utility deposits, new furniture, movers, storage, repairs, driver license updates, vehicle registration, security deposits for your new home. You want to create a relocation fund and you don't want to touch it. You want to make sure that it's only going to the dedicated costs that it's there for. 15 is going to be similar to the last one, but it's going to be cost of living. And I want to say this is probably, after getting clear on what your why is for moving, this is the most important part, because if you are not clear on cost of living, there is such a high likelihood that you're going to move somewhere that costs you a lot more than you expect, and you're not moving out here and being able to afford the lifestyle that you came out here for. You're moving out here, you're realizing that it costs you a ton of money just to keep a roof over your head, and you're spending all of your time working, sleeping, and hating your decision to relocate to the state just so that you can save up enough money to either go back home or potentially get it wrong in another area. And there's so many people that are here say, I hate Colorado. Colorado's so expensive. Moving to Colorado was the worst decision we've ever made. And, it probably was due to lack of planning and lack of research and lack of due diligence. Because if Colorado is the worst place for you to live and is so expensive that you can't afford it, that should have been known before you ever moved to Colorado. And the same goes for every single state. You want to get so clear on the cost of living. How much is it going to cost you to fill up your vehicle? How much is it going to cost you to go to a concert? How much is it going to cost you to go and enjoy the lifestyle that you're wanting to lead here? How much does it cost for housing? How much does it cost for rents? How much does it cost for insurance? What are the costs? And then you want to figure out what the cost of living is where you're currently at, because if you are moving somewhere and you're not getting a raise, but the cost of living is more, that doesn't make any sense. And if you're moving somewhere that is going to cost you more and you don't have a job lined up, get ready, your savings are going to be burned through. And if you are moving somewhere that is very expensive and you're getting a raise, but it's only 3 times as much as you're currently making, and the cost of living where you're going is going to be 5 times as much, which is pretty realistic for some of these states. Definitely, if I was going from New Mexico to California, it'd probably be 6 times as much expensive. And for us, it was around 4 times as much expensive. And the job offers that we had gotten were only around 2 to 3 times as much as what we are making. And so we were hit with a very realistic slap in the face of, we don't have as much money as we thought we did to enjoy the life that we wanted to in Colorado. And we were able to figure it out, but I've seen so many people that don't figure it out, and so many people that end up leaving this state broke. And it's not just in Colorado that it happens across the country. It happens out of country trips. You want to make sure that you are crystal clear on the cost of living where you are living right now, and your personal cost of living as well. Make sure that you do a budget. What are you paying every single month for you to live the life that you are living? And then get super crystal clear on how much it's going to cost for you to live the life that you want to lead in the state that you're moving to. and sit with the difference, because if it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. And there's no reason for you to spend a bunch of money to physically move somewhere just for it to still not make any sense. There are several other states that can be a fit for you, especially when cost of living is what is Xing out one of the contenders. So please, please, please do not move somewhere that you can't afford, because if you can't afford it, you're not going to live the lifestyle that caused you to move there, and you're going to be miserable. Truly, truly, you're going to be miserable. So cost of living, probably one of the most important points of this entire video. Make sure that you're crystal clear on it. And if you need help navigating how to figure out the cost of living, where you're at and where you're going to, reach out. I would love to help you. 16 is going to be your support system. This is important. If you're somebody that has a lot of family that's surrounding them, and mom and dad and nieces and nephews and cousins and all kinds of people that are willing to have you over for the holidays and help you raise your kids and take care of them and babysit and just be there for the experience of life, and you're moving somewhere where you don't know anyone, that is going to be really hard for you to adjust to. And you just want to make sure that you're okay with it before you make the move and get very, very homesick and realize that childcare is very expensive and that you're not able to do it on your own. And it's also not something that you're enjoying doing on your own. So make sure that you are clear on what your support system looks like, what you can expect moving to a new state. And if you are moving somewhere where you're not going to have anybody that you know, I think it's very important for you to hop on local Facebook groups and community groups and meetups and even dating sites if you're somebody that's single, so that you can start meeting people that are local to the area, so that you can start building that community and start building the support system, so that you're not alone when you get here. Because it's really easy to isolate yourself when you don't know anyone. It's really easy to stay inside when you don't know anyone. And it leads to being even more homesick and being kind of miserable. I experienced that the first year being in Colorado, and it took me breaking out of my shell and actually going and building the community in order for me to start enjoying living in Colorado. So support is everything. It's important that you have a good system, and that if you don't have a system where you're moving to, that you're very intentional on building the system. Number 17 is that you want to know your exit strategy. And I'm a big believer in that. If you, I guess you can't even see this, but I wrote exit. You want to know your exit strategy. And I say this kind of jokingly because I believe that if you go through all of this research and you go through all of these points and you really sit with all of these questions and make sure that this is going to be the right place for you to move, I don't think that you need an exit strategy. But if you are moving somewhere and you're not sure, I think it's important for you to set up the necessary expectations and points for you to have a realistic conversation with how it's going and whether or not you should be moving somewhere else, or you should be going back home, or whether or not this is something that is good for you. I think too many times people spend more time in a situation that is not good for them, and they end up wasting years and years of their life being somewhere that's not right for them. I don't know where I was, but I think the worst thing that you can do is not do your research and end up buying a home in a place that is not going to be right for you. And not only a regular home, but a home that is not necessarily high in demand for the average buyer. We're talking about a home that might have a lot of acreage, or might have some really wild colors, or might have like a tennis court or a golf course, or just really rare things that not everybody is going to want. I think that if you are not sure on where you want to be and you have not done all of this due diligence and you've not done all of this research, and you also buy a home that is a very unique home in a unique area, you could be setting yourself up for a financial mess because it's going to be harder to sell that. The demand is going to be less and it's going to take more time. And time costs money when you're not somewhere that you want to be. And so it's just very important for you to do all of this research and to answer all of these questions and to really go through, hopefully, all of the notes that you've written down and be the person that has your own best interest at heart so that you get it right. Because if you do that, you don't need an exit strategy. If you do that, you get it right and you get to move somewhere and experience an incredible experience and thrive in a new state, which is a really great experience. So all of that to say, there's a lot that goes into planning a move. There's a lot that goes into relocating to a different state. There's a lot that goes into buying a home in a different state. And if you have questions, I would love to help you. Specifically, if you are thinking about making a move to Colorado, I would love to help you. That is what I do. And make sure that you reach out, make sure that you ask questions, make sure that you have your own best interest at heart so that we can work as a team to get you in the place that you are meant to be. So without further ado, here is all of my information right here. Make sure that you like, make sure that you subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Good luck with your move.